first game in which they lost, which their roster was depleted. He's making more out of less, right? And Marquise Hollywood Brown, he's making him look like a number one wide receiver. Right? We're watching Mark Andrews. He's making Mark Andrews look like Rob Gronkowski. Like what he did last night, coming back from 22 points down, 22, I think it was 22 unanswered points. Is he the lock for MVP? If we were to pick the MVP right now, would he be your lock for MVP?
No, I would. For me, it's Justin Herbert because him and Brandon Staley have changed the franchise.
Oh, what? Justin Herbert?
Yes, Justin
he's
Herbert.
in the conversation for sure.
But
Kyler Murray.
He's killing us.
I mean, guys, you're going to pull an all-nighter saying, when is Mike Tannenbaum's quarterback rankings on Wednesday morning going to come out? So you're going to have to wait till tomorrow.
I'm not talking about quarterback rankings. I'm talking about MVP, Mike.
But let me tell you this. Let me talk about Lamar Jackson because this is a great axiom here, guys. The tape sets the floor and the character sets the ceiling. And what we're seeing from Lamar Jackson is a high floor and an even higher ceiling because he has an incredible work ethic. And one of the things that all coaches talk about, and Key, you know this, Coach Parcells, Coach Belichick, is let's make our opponent beat us left-handed, meaning what don't they do well? And to Lamar's credit, he worked on his weaknesses, and they are now unstoppable on offense because you know what's coming, and now you can't stop it because if you commit more guys to the run, we're going to hit a home run to Hollywood Brown, and like you said, Mark Andrews is playing great. So
wait till Rashad Bateman gets there too. Wait till he gets on the field.
Yeah, no question about it. Like they're dealing, and look, they have a lot of injuries. Like look, their corners aren't good enough right now. And look, if the Colts kicked a 47-yard field goal, we're probably talking about the resurgence of Carson Wentz. But Lamar Jackson, to me, is a great example from a scouting standpoint. Is when they come into the league, that's the start of the story, not the end of it. And to Lamar's credit, he has gotten better at things that we knew that the opposing defenses would test him on. And to his credit, he's played incredibly well.
Mike, what if he was a left-hander? Then what would you do?
Well, that's called Tua, right? Tua's the only starting left-hander right now.
Wait.
You have to make him play right-handed to beat you.
So, can you list your top three MVP candidates right now?
Yeah, it's him. It's Lamar, Kyler.
No. I need you to. We rank things on the show, Mike.
Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert 1.
Yeah, Lamar 1A and Kyler 3.
You know, Mike, I was out Sunday. Did I talk? No, I haven't talked to you since last week. But I was at the game. I was at the Cleveland game, right? And I had a chance to see it from above and watch the entire flow of the game. I still, to this day, man, I don't understand how the Miami Dolphins got it wrong. I'm sorry. I just don't understand how they got it wrong. And then I watched Lamar last night, and I don't understand how there are certain individuals in this league, as you know, Mike, they don't like what we saw last night from Lamar, and then the Dolphins got it wrong on Justin Herbert versus Tua. Yeah. How does that happen?
Yeah. So, Key, a couple of things. First of all, I didn't get it wrong. Proud to say that. Herbert was my number one quarterback. Burrow was 2, and Tua was 3. The team we could start with is Washington. As great as Chase Young is, they may have passed on John Elway. So we could go right to Washington. We could go right down. Like, we could beat up Miami, and that's fine. But we could talk about starting with number 2 at Washington. Imagine how good Washington would be.
I don't think Elway had his arm talent, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, that's fair.
Elway didn't have whose arm talent?
Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert has more arm talent.
Stop, Max.
I think he does.
Max, stop.
Hold on. I lived through Elway. I remember Elway.
No. Don't do this today.
Who had more arm talent, Marino or Elway?
Who had more arm talent?
Yeah.
They both was about the same.
I'd say Marino was a little more. I got to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they were both. I mean, they both.
Never mind.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave this alone.
But anyway,
Justin Herbert arm.
Justin Herbert has. You can't
Mike,
really have.
We
more
played against John Elway. We saw it up close in person.
He cost me a ring.
Yes. What are you talking about, Max?
John Elway's one of the all-time greats. I'm just.
By the way, Mike T, not trying to get involved in the arm talent discussion. He wants to deflect and go to
most arm talent I've ever seen is either Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers, and then Marino, and like those are the guys. If I had to be honest and make a list, they would come. If you have to under any circumstance. Mike Tannenbaum, ESPN NFL front office insider, joins us in studio, giving the Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Mike, you were the GM of an NFL team, so these are the kind of situations that GMs have to deal with sometimes. What is your reaction to John Gruden's resignation?
Yeah, probably like everybody else, I was shocked. It was clearly unacceptable on so many levels. This was the only outcome that could have happened. Clearly, it was more of a timing of when it was going to happen, not if it was going to happen. And it's just amazing what he did for so long. And the outcome was the only outcome that was going to be acceptable. Now, with that said, guys, moving forward, I just looked this morning. If the season ended today, the Raiders would be the 6th seed. And unfortunately, for way different circumstances, I was involved in a situation where we made a change very earlier in the season, and we hired Dan Campbell, who was our head coach for 12 games. And we went on to have a very competitive season. And if I'm Mark Davis, I'm walking into that building today and said, what happened was shocking, disappointing, totally unacceptable, and now it's ancient history. We have the rest of the season. We still have 12 games left, and we have an opportunity to go do a lot of great things together. So it's us against the world, and we have to move forward as an organization.
It's 10 years, $100 million. I mean, that was a pretty lucrative deal for a guy that was supposed to be the leader of your franchise. And for me, Mike, I sit there and we're listening to, Jacobs the other day trying to make comments as a younger player. How do you navigate that? Derek Carr trying to make comments as a quarterback of a team, like all these things that people remember. Like, you guys backed him. Like, how would you advise players in the position that you were like, and how to kind of just not mentally move on just to football, but how to kind of rechannel all that happened over the last several days?
Yeah, Jay, well, it's a great question, which is, it moves so fast from Friday to Monday when those first emails came out Friday afternoon. And what I would counsel players is to say, like, hey, let's get all the facts here, because before you speak about something like there, and obviously there was more, and it moves so fast, but what I would say to players is be thorough, be thoughtful. And again, once everything else came out, it was shocking to see like how long all that went on for.
Mike, Rich Bisaccia is going to take over as the interim head coach. I've been knowing Rich for a very, very long time. I have high regard for him as a interim head coach. In these situations, right, we bring in an interim head coach. You had Dan Campbell take over for the Miami Dolphins, and now he takes over for them. What do you think? The team, how do you think he can rally the team to get them to focus on the games ahead opposed to the negativity that's behind?
Yeah, Key, to me, that's the whole discussion in that building today, which is like, however we got here, and it's shocking and unbelievable how we got here. But Rich Bisaccia, you've worked your whole career. You're a well-thought-of special teams coach. But guess what? The pen is in your hand. Like, what story do you want to write? And right now, if the season ended today, this year, the 2021 Raiders are in the playoffs. Derek Carr, you want to be paid like a $45 million quarterback? Go lead us. And to me, it's key. It's an opportunity. Again, it's shocking, disappointing, completely unacceptable how we got here. But now we got to flush it and move on. The NFL is a week-to-week world. And, Rich, you have an opportunity of a lifetime.
Mike,
Jay.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, Jay, ask Mike what you think about what he thought about. I want to get away from this a little bit and get to the game last night, because I feel like we've been talking about this for over an hour. My head is going to explode. Ask him what you were telling me about Lamar Jackson and hear what he has to say.
So, Mike, Key and I were talking before. I've never, obviously there's been a lot of talk about Lamar. All we talked about last year, and I give Key credit for this because Key was like, hey, look, he believes in Lamar. I questioned how he would throw outside the numbers, right? The passing game. But what he's been able to do